If Keir Starmer has not broken any rules, for God's sake, for Christ's sake, it is time the rules were changed.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter whether the rules were or weren't broken in this case. He's in a great deal of political trouble over it. And it's really very bad for all MPs when a colleague, and in this case, the most senior politician in the land, behaves in this way, because it fuels an impression.
Change begins now.
Keir Starmer has unveiled his ambitious Plan for Change, outlining 6 key milestones he aims to achieve by the 2029 general election. These targets are designed to empower voters and allow them to hold his government accountable for the progress made. The first major milestone focuses on raising living standards, with a goal to increase real household disposable income and achieve sustained economic growth across the UK. In housing, Starmer is committed to constructing 1.5 million homes in England and speeding up planning decisions for essential infrastructure projects. This is part of his effort to tackle what he has called the most severe housing crisis in modern history. Healthcare is another key focus. Starmer pledges to reduce NHS waiting times.
Today we publish new milestones, measurable milestones, that will also give the British people the power to hold our feet to the fire.
Aiming to ensure 92% of NHS patients in England receive treatment within 18 weeks of referral, improving healthcare access for millions.
Some people may say, that's pretty brave. You've seen the books now. You know how hard that NHS milestone is. Building 1.5 million homes is ambitious, perhaps a little too ambitious. And look, I'll be honest, they're right. We face an almighty challenge to hit these milestones by the end of this Parliament.
On policing, Starmer is determined to recruit 13,000 additional officers, including police community support officers, PCSOs, and special constables, to ensure that every neighbourhood in England and Wales has a named officer. This initiative is aimed at making communities safer and more secure. In education, Starmer wants to improve early childhood learning, aiming to have 75% of children in England ready to learn by age 5.
It's like number one thing that exercises Labour voters and many others besides.
And indeed Reform UK voters who are doing better than Labour in the polls at the moment.
How could he have left that off? You know, it is so astonishingly stupid that you begin to think, is there something else at work here? Is someone actually plotting to make this party, this leadership, this particular Prime Minister fail?
Keir Starmer's recent apology to the nation was meant to mark a fresh start for the Labour Party. But instead of offering reassurance, it raised more questions. Critics, including prominent figures like Isabelle Oakshot, believe this was more about damage control than real change. Starmer claimed that his party made mistakes, but his reaction to a petition signed by 3 million people demanding a general election was nothing short of dismissive. A chuckle. The public, however, isn't laughing. Isabelle Oakshot has been at the forefront of Starmer's critics. She's not afraid to challenge his leadership, especially when it comes to his failure to deliver on key issues like immigration and national security. Her message is clear. Starmer's leadership is all talk, no action. The public sees the contradictions in his promises, and they're growing restless.
However tempting these little luxuries might seem, how is that going to backfire on me? How is that going to look when my duty and being paid from the public purse to have this most honoured of positions, my duty is first and foremost to serve the people, not be lavished on gifts as if I'm some kind of emperor.
He doesn't get it. How can we trust a leader who can't even deliver on his most basic promises? People are fed up. Starmer's credibility is on the line. His promises of change and reform seem to be nothing more than political spin. While he assures the public that there will be no new taxes, his flip-flopping on this issue raises more doubts. Voters have noticed. They're questioning a leader who can't make up his mind on crucial policies like tax hikes and immigration. He keeps changing his stance on taxes. First, no new hikes, then maybe taxes will go up. How can we trust him? Starmer's leadership also faces scrutiny over transparency, particularly surrounding the Southport attack. Critics, including Oakshot, argued that the government is trying to cover something up by silencing MPs. Isabelle Oakshot said, "Why is the government silencing MPs on the Southport attack? What are they trying to hide? The public deserves answers, not a cover-up. Why has Starmer and the Labour Party failed to address the growing concerns over such a significant issue? The silence raises red flags." Another area where Starmer's leadership is being called into question is on support for farmers and rural communities. Oakshot has been vocal about the government's failure to protect this vital sector. Farmers are struggling, and the government's focus on urban issues is leaving them behind. Starmer's policies don't prioritize what's most important for the country's future. Oakshot's advocacy highlights a key flaw in Starmer's leadership. The Labour Party's focus seems too narrow, failing to address the real needs of the people who feed the nation. After months of shifting positions, vague promises, and public disillusionment, the question remains, can Keir Starmer rebuild trust with the British public, or has he already lost them? The clock is ticking. The public is questioning whether Starmer is truly the leader they need. Can he transform Labour into a party of action, or will it remain a party of empty words? Is Starmer ready to tackle the real issues that matter, or is he simply playing the political game? With voters losing patience, his next steps will be crucial. Keir Starmer's future as Labour leader might depend on whether he can turn words into action or continue down the path of vague rhetoric and broken promises. Will Starmer rise to the occasion, or will he fade into the political background? The public's patience is wearing thin, and only time will tell if he can regain their trust.
Disagree with.
Yeah.
You know, people will not forget so-called austerity, but actually this country ticked along quite nicely during the coalition years and plenty was achieved. There were no fewer than 2 referendums, one that was carried out on the voting system. I think people would probably vote differently on that now. And secondly, then the ground was laid for that seminal Brexit referendum. So masses was achieved, actually, 2010 to 2015. No excuses there.
However, the Labour leader has expressed frustration over the slow progress of his government, calling for quicker action and a response to public concerns about effectiveness. As part of his housing strategy, Starmer is campaigning against NIMBYism to ensure faster development of homes and essential infrastructure. Starmer is also preparing for his first official trip to the Persian Gulf, where he will strengthen ties with the UAE and Saudi Arabia while addressing human rights concerns. With public polling on the decline, Starmer's plan for change is seen as his response to regain control of the political narrative ahead of 2029. If you found this update on Keir Starmer's plan for change insightful, make sure to like and subscribe for more political updates. Stay tuned and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss the latest news.